Uncle Sam, government, young women, if they'll just be happy with affirmative action and government health care and free stuff, that gives her self-worth. Well, we know that dependency on government programs fuels socialist and leftist belief. So it's an understanding that God creates us, and it's separate from the culture. It's something that makes a young woman, makes anybody strong and healthy and able to resist a lot of the cultural indoctrination. It's looking to God. It's understanding that God makes you unique and special.
Now, I was doing some research for this discussion with you, and I found that a lot on the left blame Ronald Reagan and the rise of the Christian conservatives, the rise of the Christian coalition, as fueling the exodus of women from the Republican Party to the Democrat Party. How do you respond to that?
I think at core, most women are conservative in their hearts about their family, about their patriotism, about the strength of America. But I think that women get busy, Cheryl, and our lives are busy, and we're mothers, and we're working, and we have families. And if you just listen to ABC, NBC, CBS, and read most of the newspapers, the Washington Post, the New York Times, you're never even going to hear the conservative arguments. And they play on emotions, and they don't tell the full story. And I think that the biggest challenge for conservatives, and what we do here at the Center for Conservative Women, and what I'm trying to do with this book, is to point out how it's conservative policies that are really the ones that show caring and concern for people, the things that women care about. I don't think that women are innately liberal, but I think we have to do a better job of showing them how conservative policies are the ones that are the most caring for people and for children.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to do a better job, because honestly, it drives me nuts, and I bet it does you as well, to see that the Democrat Party relies on women like they do blacks as a core voting base. But if you peel back what the Democrats stand for versus what Republicans stand for, conservative women are more in line with the Republican Party.
Absolutely. And when you look at some of the left-wing policies of today, defund the police. Oh, yeah, that's really going to be helpful to women who live in urban settings where the crime is so outrageous now they can't even walk outside. Or opposition to school choice. The kids are stuck in these dreadful, unsafe schools where they don't learn to read. And, okay, they're not allowed any option to select other schools. The policies of the left are so damaging to women and children, and we just have to do a better job of talking about that.
And so why do women vote for the Democrat Party? I don't understand.
They don't have enough time, or they haven't spent the time to listen, to hear different points of view. It almost happens by osmosis. And that's sort of the point of the book. For conservative parents who care, don't just say, I'll just let her live her life and do her best. No, you can't do that anymore, because, the forces arrayed against the family can be terrifying today. And they've got to work harder at thinking about the principles and teaching them. I mean, I'm a big advocate of dinner table conversations. First, a lot of families don't even have dinner. You have to try to have dinner or lunch together and talk about things. I mean, from the time a girl is really little, you can talk about some of these issues at the dinner table over a nice meal and start to get her thinking about things, because she's not going to hear it on TV, in those newspapers, or on social media. You're not going to hear the conservative ideas.
What do you think, in your research, what did you find that was the biggest draw that pulled young women from conservative thought to the liberal ideology?
Well, I think that many parents especially don't understand how powerful social media is. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, they're immensely influential. And so the argument is that if parents don't restrict that at all, it's a very left-wing view, a very superficial beauty, a lot of phoniness. I think that curtailing screen time is a good place for parents to start. And why have your daughter settle for an empty online life? Have her join a church group. Have her involved in more fulfilling pursuits, music, arts, sports. Have her read moms and dads, you have to read, so your daughters see you reading. I mentioned a number of books that I would recommend for girls in it. These are all things that will make a girl think a little more and tend to turn her to the conservative side. If she's spending 6-7 hours a day on social media, Cheryl, she's probably going to be liberal if she's not getting any of the other stuff.
So why should all of America care about the political leanings of our nation's women?
Well, I mean, the women, the hand that rocks the cradle, the women, the vote, the women are so influential in the life of our children, in the life of our country. And I think that Americans need to think about a generational change for our nation with our girls. I have 3 sons, so boys are terribly important too. But I've learned over my 28 years here of working with young women how strong and powerful, how effective young women who are taught the proper principles can be for our country. Everybody needs to care about that. It's very, very important for the future of our country, for our freedom, for our religious freedom, and for the well-being of our families.
So when you look at these polls and these surveys that show millennials and the younger generations are rapidly turning towards socialism as a political viability for America and embracing it over capitalism, how does that change your message of it must raise the alarms even louder, right?
Well, I think that we have to show them these marvelous socialist paradises like Cuba, where people get on rafts and risk shark-infested waters to leave it. Venezuela, they're leaving by the tens of thousands, this socialist paradise. North Korea, communist China, where they'll beat you and torture you and execute you for your faith. I think that just showing examples of socialism today, of course, the Bernie Sanders and the AOC say, we're going to do it different. No, it's never been successful anywhere in the world, socialism. So I think just pointing out that all these people in Central America that are trooping up through Mexico to come to America, how come they're not going to Venezuela? It's much closer because socialism is not good for people. Just giving kids examples like that. They can watch on the news, the border situation. Why are they all coming to America and not getting on a raft and paddling out to Cuba, a socialist paradise? I mean, that speaks volumes to me.
So during the course of your research, was there anything that really shocked you about the differences between women voters versus male voters?
Well, there were a couple of things that actually gave me some happiness. One is the issue of life, and this is not so much voters, but maybe younger people, but also women. We're starting to shift the views on life. I think it has to do with sonograms and watching little babies on the sonogram, and also that the idea of the end of life and older people. I think that defense of life from conception to natural death, I think we're actually making some progress on that. So that surprised me. And the other one is, the differences between men and women with here in Fairfax County, Virginia, where I live, we had 12 school board members. 11 of them raised their hand to say, yes, the boys can go into the bathrooms with the little girls. Well, I think even liberal women and even some radical feminists are horrified at this effort to eliminate womanhood. So I guess there were 2 sort of happy surprises there, life and the difference between men and women. I think that we are making some progress, but we have a lot of work to do in other areas.
Just to finish with this last question, expanding on that point that you just raised, it seems to me that there's a good opportunity right now in America among conservatives to win the youthful female vote based on what's happening in women athletics or with the whole LGBTQ movement. Does your research underscore that opportunity?
Absolutely. The left-wing propaganda that men and women are exactly the same. I mean, it's shown to be so false. So many young women, and even in the Olympics, are robbed of opportunities to win an athletic contest because they're competing unfairly. The boys and men who think they're girls and women, they have bigger hearts, they have bigger muscles, they have bigger bodies. They're going to beat us every time. It really is a robbery that's unbelievable. So yeah, I think that is helping us make some progress in having people understand men and women are not exactly alike. We don't have differences in intelligence, but physically we do. And, the miracle of childbearing. Does anybody talk about that on the left? No, it's just we're all the same. No, we're not. We're quite different, and it's a wonderful thing.
The left always goes too far with its stupidity, I think. So,
they do. Yes, they do.
Michelle Easton, I want to thank you for your time. And How to Raise a Conservative Daughter. I'm sure it's a bestseller. If not now, it's destined to be. It's a very timely book, and thank you for writing it.
It is. Actually, we're going into a second printing, and I want to thank you so much for all the good that you do in the paper, and I'm just very grateful to you for letting me have a chance to talk about how to raise a conservative daughter.
Oh, it was great chatting with you, Michelle. Thank you for being on Bold and Blunt.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. How to Raise a Conservative Daughter. A timely discussion, an important discussion. Look, if we could just get the nation's women to acknowledge that abortion is not a God-given right, we'd be halfway there. We'd be halfway there to shaping our daughters into conservative mindsets. Check out the book. Check back next Bold and Blunt for even more important discussions. And in the meanwhile, remember,